Or please take off your hat.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right, a couple of things. First of all, Mr. Phillips, once again, I have gotten right before your hearing, actually after the time that your hearing was set, I have received about 100 pages sent directly to my chambers. My chambers, Ms. Tang, has let you know that is not the way that you file pleadings in the court. And so I do not want it to happen again because I will reject it and I will not read it.
Right away, Judge Simpson establishes something every courtroom depends on: procedure. This isn't just a judge being annoyed about paperwork. What we're hearing is frustration from a court that believes the defendant keeps trying to operate outside the normal legal process. The judge specifically points out that roughly 100 pages were sent directly to chambers rather than filed properly. That's a major issue because courts rely on formal filing rules to ensure fairness and transparency. But notice the tone here. This isn't a gentle reminder. The warning is direct, firm, and very public. That's usually a sign that this conversation has happened before. The judge is essentially putting a boundary in place before the hearing even gets rolling. What's especially interesting is that the next topic immediately becomes yet another request involving legal representation. That tells us this hearing isn't just about paperwork. It's about a growing conflict between the defendant and the attorneys assigned to help him. As this unfolds, pay attention to Judge Simpson's patience level. You can already hear that he's concerned the court process itself is becoming the issue. And when a judge starts talking about mockery of proceedings before the main dispute is even addressed, that's usually a bigger tensions are about to explode.
I now come before the court, and I'll certainly let Mr. Cowles make his own argument, but I come before the court for you now asking for a fourth attorney. And when I read over the motion from Mr. Cowles, it seems we keep going through the same thing. And I'm not going to play the game. Just not going to play the game. So, Mr. Cowles, I'm not saying at this point I'm going to deny your motion or anything, but what I am going to do is I'm going to adjourn this over. And with this admonition to you, Mr. Phillips, you can't keep coming before this court deciding which attorney you wish to select. So what I'm going to suggest to you is that you find a way to reconcile whatever differences you have with Mr. Cowles.
Oh, no, he went off.
Deal with that. No, hold it. Do not ever interrupt me. Ever. That what you will do is you will attempt to reconcile whatever differences there are. If you can't, then I will deal with Mr. Cowles' motion. I am not dealing with your motion. You have counsel of record. It is not going to happen this way. Mm-hmm. You are not going to make some mockery of these court proceedings. And so I'm done with you in that regard. I will adjourn this matter out to February 2nd, 2022 at 9 a.m. or as a time set by the court. Mr. Cowles, use your best efforts to try to resolve this with Mr. Phillips. If you guys don't, then that's fine. So to the extent you don't like Mr. Cowles, didn't like Miss Julian, didn't like Mr. Brown before then, those are the devils you know. So you can take those, or you can take one you don't know. Because if I let Mr. Cowles off the case and I appoint counsel, I'm not hearing another motion to withdraw. I'm done for today. We'll see you on the 2nd. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This is a huge moment because Judge Simpson finally draws a line in the sand. The court has now heard about multiple attorneys, multiple conflicts, and repeated dissatisfaction with counsel. Instead of allowing the cycle to continue, the judge makes it clear that enough is enough. Listen carefully to what he's saying. He isn't simply denying a request. He's explaining that there has to be an endpoint. Courts cannot function if representation keeps changing every time disagreements arise. At some stage, the focus has to return to the actual case. The phrase about the devils you know is particularly telling. The judge is basically saying that replacing counsel doesn't guarantee improvement. A new attorney won't magically erase the existing problems. And then comes the strongest signal of all. He's not interested in hearing another withdrawal motion if new counsel is appointed. That's judicial fatigue being expressed very openly. Have you ever noticed how some courtroom moments aren't dramatic because people are yelling? They Dramatic because a judge calmly announces that the discussion is over? That's exactly what just happened here. Judge Simpson isn't negotiating anymore. He's establishing finality, and everyone in the room knows it.
Yeah, he's assaultive. It's not good. So he can't behave like that to me.
Cut him off. Do not do that in my proceeding.
Good afternoon, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Penny. I'm happy. Mr. Reed, who is approaching. State your name for the record, please, Mr. Reed.
Timothy Reed III.
All right.
Your Honor,
Yes.
excuse me. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with Mr. Reed in holding. I have explained all of his options, and I think he wants to move forward and admit to the violation today.
Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
You did not. And the violation would be that the tether was cut.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
All right. And you admit to that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything you want to say before I sentence him on this?
I think Mr. Reed, I'm going to let him speak on his own behalf. He's mentioned to me that he wants to speak to Your Honor. I will say after our hearings, prior to the holiday, he did call me and kind of give me the lowdown on everything. I think he's incredibly remorseful for not being completely frank with myself and Your Honor at his last hearings. I think he's been in custody for 2 weeks now, and says he knows he needs to be better, and is dedicating himself to doing that moving forward. He really does want to get out of custody and get back to work to support his children. He said this is the amount of time he's been away from his children, and that's been one of the hardest things that he's had to experience during this whole ordeal. But I think the time that he's had to think has really put things into perspective. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Reed because I think hearing from him directly will emphasize that.
Go ahead.
Before Timothy Reed speaks, the defense has carefully laid out a very specific theme: remorse, accountability, and family consequences. Notice how the attorney doesn't spend much time arguing facts. The tether was cut. That violation has already been admitted. Instead, the focus shifts toward what happened afterward and what Reed has learned while sitting in custody. The attorney highlights several key points. Reed allegedly contacted counsel after prior hearings, expressed regret, has spent 2 weeks in jail, wants to return to work, and, most importantly, wants to reconnect with his children. That's not accidental. In sentencing discussions, lawyers often try to show the human consequences of a defendant's decisions. What's interesting is that the attorney also emphasizes that Reed has been honest recently about not being honest earlier. That sounds strange, but courts often view genuine acknowledgement of wrongdoing differently from continued denial. Now comes the critical test. Lawyers can make arguments all day long, but judges frequently want to hear directly from the person standing before them. Reed now has an opportunity to either reinforce everything his attorney just said or completely undermine it. The next few minutes could determine whether the judge sees growth, excuses, or something in between.
So yes, I did intentionally cut the tether, but once I did it, something snapped in my head, and I realized I was like, what am I doing? Like, I know this is wrong, and I immediately got a hold of the emergency tether line. Called them, told them, what happened, and they had me send.
Well, you gave a version of what happened.
Yeah, the version instead of telling the truth, which I definitely need to do point blank. Because when you don't tell the truth, it just makes things worse. I did send pictures in. I still went to community corrections the next morning to get a new tether, and still showed up to court. I've definitely had a lot of time to reflect on what I've done these last 2 weeks. It really hit me hard Thanksgiving morning when I woke up and realized that I wasn't gonna be able to see my kids for the holiday. And then I called my sister to ask if the kids were going to be at my family's Thanksgiving. And then when I found out that they weren't and I wasn't going to be able to talk to them that day, that also hit me really hard. And realizing that if I don't take accountability for my own actions and actually do what I'm supposed to, it's never going to get any better.
Did you really think I was going to buy your story?
I'm going to be honest with you, no.
Then why'd you keep doubling down?
I have no idea, sir.
I mean, I'm looking at the cut on it, and I had it pretty much figured out.
Yeah, I even went and got super glue to try to super glue it back together.
Pardon?
I even got super glue from the store to try to super glue it back together. And then I realized that wasn't working. So
This exchange is one of the most revealing moments in the hearing because Reed is no longer disputing what happened. Instead, he's describing what he was thinking after the decision had already been made. Judge Simpson's question is straightforward. Why keep doubling down? That's a question courts ask all the time. Often the original mistake creates one problem, but the attempts to cover it up create several more. What stands out here is Reed admitting that he tried to repair the tether after cutting it. Rather than helping his position, that detail actually reinforces the judge's concern that he wasn't being fully truthful from the beginning. The judge clearly indicates that he never believed the earlier explanation. Reed's response is notable because he doesn't argue, he doesn't challenge the judge. He essentially acknowledges the obvious. From a courtroom perspective, honesty at this stage can matter. It doesn't erase the violation, but it changes the conversation from proving misconduct to evaluating accountability. Here's the question for viewers. Does admitting the truth after getting caught demonstrate real growth, or is it simply recognizing that denial is no longer possible? Judges wrestle with that distinction every day, and it often influences sentencing decisions more than people realize.
I mean, what were you thinking when you just decided you were going to cut it?
I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't plan on running or anything. I've got kids that I want to be able to see, and I want to get out of this whole process and be able to continue on with life and not get in trouble again. I know what I did was completely wrong, and it should have never happened in the first place.
You know, had you just told the truth over here, on November 17th?
Yes, sir.
Probably would have been out for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I realized that.
All around this is just stupid.
Yes, sir.
Anything else you want to say before I sentence him?
Nothing, Your Honor. I'd ask that the court sentence him to credit for time served and reinstate his personal bond. As we say at the bench, he's being seen by Judge Perry on Wednesday. His bond there is denied, but she's kind of indicated she's waiting to see what Your Honor does.
Sentence you to 14 days, Washington County Jail, credit 14 days served. Your previous bond with its conditions is reinstated. Ma'am, you are trying to address the court. What is she?
The decision is now official, and it's actually a significant outcome for Reed. Judge Simpson sentences him to 14 days in the county jail, but immediately gives credit for the 14 days already served. In practical terms, that means the jail sanction has effectively been satisfied. The judge then reinstates the previous bond and its conditions. That's an important distinction. The court is punishing the violation, but it is not completely dismantling Reed's opportunity to continue forward under bond. What makes this moment particularly interesting is that it reflects both accountability and restraint. The judge is clearly unhappy about the tether incident and the lack of honesty surrounding it. We've heard that throughout the hearing, yet the final ruling isn't structured as maximum punishment. Instead, the court appears to be recognizing the time already served while still sending a message that violations carry consequences. This is often where courtroom outcomes surprise viewers. The loudest moments usually happen during confrontation, but the real story is often found in the judge's final balancing act between punishment, deterrence, and giving someone another chance to comply moving forward.
And that's correct, Your Honor. The victim is present to address the court if the court wanted to hear from her.
Yeah, what are we going to do on this?
I'm asking today for final settlement.
Are you going to be ready Friday?
We asked for that date if the people will be ready, but I know it's
Well,
Friday.
all right. Then I'll set jury final settlement conference.
What do you say?
What is that?
It's
December 5th. Today's the 1st. December 5th. Today's the 1st. That keeps going on in my head.
It's already December. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
That wasn't my point, but okay, disparity. December 5th, 2025 at 9 a.m. Jury selection, if necessary, in this case, will take place December 8th, 2025 at 8:30. Did you want to address me, Esteban?
You'll sit where Natalie's
Yeah, you need to have a seat, sir. Hello.
Just wanted to let you know because he's been in
Can
jail.
you state your name?
Oh, sorry. Rosa Bannock.
Yes.
I'm going to try not to cry because I am in that state right now. But because he's been in jail, I have lost my job. I really just hope that you can release him. And I've also been sick for like the last 2 weeks. My kids have been obscenely misbehaving because they miss him. And my daughter has a neurodegenerative disease, doesn't understand what's going on. Her speech has gotten worse. It was getting better. And I just need him released so I can work and pay rent.
This hearing suddenly takes on a completely different emotional tone. Up until now, the focus has largely been on Reed's choices and the tether violation. But when Rosa speaks, the conversation expands beyond the defendant and into the lives of the people around him. She describes losing work opportunities, struggling with illness, dealing with children who miss their father, and caring for a daughter with a serious medical condition. Whether or not those circumstances affect the legal ruling, they clearly illustrate how one decision can ripple through an entire family. Judge Simpson's response is also noteworthy. He listens carefully, but he immediately brings the discussion back to accountability by reminding everyone why Reed ended up in custody in the first place. That's a difficult balance judges face constantly. Sympathy and responsibility can exist at the same time. A court can recognize hardship without ignoring the conduct that created the situation. This may be the most human moment of the hearing because it reminds everyone that courtroom decisions rarely affect just one person. Entire families often feel the consequences long after the hearing ends.
I understand that, but you also understand how it turned out that he ended up in custody.
Yeah, that's his decision. I mean, that was his.
No,
No, anyways, but seriously, like, if I become homeless again, because I can't pay rent, the only way my kids can be safe and still be able to go to school, because shelters are probably full right now, is that he goes back to his sisters, because we have a great co-parenting thing where he takes them on the weekends. His sister already agreed because she knows the situation to take the kids. but he has to be there. I have no help. My dad's in Serbia. My mom's unreliable. My car has been broken down for months now. I don't have anywhere to go with my kids. I can manage myself, but I can't manage myself with my kids because I don't have any support.
I understand. And quite frankly, back on the 17th, I wish I hadn't had to do what I did.
And I think he, at this point, has learned. He is pretty, I think he's just manic, and that's probably why he did that, to be honest.
What?
Manic. He has bipolar.
All right. Okay.
I'm being serious.
Well, he's going to get out.
Okay.
Okay.
Can it be before Friday?
He's getting out of jail?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to let him go today.
Oh.
You want me to keep him till Friday?
No.
You got something to do?
No. I ended up getting a new job. It's only part-time, but I work Friday, and they don't go to school on Fridays.
I sentenced him to 14 days, credit 14 served, which
Okay.
stated his previous bond conditions.
Thank you.
All right.
I really
He
appreciate
will be
it.
out as of today at whatever point the jail releases him.
Okay.
Okay?
I really appreciate it. I'm serious.
Not a problem. All right.
I'm just stressed.
Yes. All right. Take care. All right. Anything else we need to do on this? I don't think so.
Something else. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
And that's where this hearing ultimately lands. After hearing admissions, explanations, frustrations, and emotional testimony from family members, Judge Simpson's ruling remains consistent. Reed receives a 14-day jail sanction with credit for the 14 days already served, and his previous bond conditions are reinstated. What's fascinating about this case is how many different themes appeared in a relatively short hearing. There was accountability for cutting the tether. There was discussion about honesty and the consequences of doubling down on a false story. There were concerns about children, employment, housing stability, and family hardship. And throughout it all, Judge Simpson kept returning to one central principle: personal responsibility. The judge made it clear that Reed's choices created the problem, but he also acknowledged that additional incarceration beyond the time already served wasn't necessary under these circumstances. By the end, the courtroom tension that started with admissions of wrongdoing concludes with relief from both Reed and his family. The emotional reaction from Rosa says a lot about what was at stake for the people outside the legal paperwork. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.